Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and this is James Ramos from At the Quarter Pole. And here's my 2025 pick for the Wood Memorial on April 5th. My pick will be Hill Road. Hill Road ran a really good race in the Tampa Bay Derby. He ran a solid third with blinkers on, added by Chad Brown. The fractional time was 24 and 48, and that race was won by the eventual winner of Owen Almighty that took it wire to wire in their small fractions. So Hill Road is my pick for the Wood Memorial. There should be plenty of place. Rodriguez is shipping out from the West Coast, and why, I do not know. It's a heavier track at Aqueduct than it is at Santa Anita, and they're going to use this horse as a pace factor. He's going to Rodriguez would hook up with Captain Cook and also Grande out of the top Pletcher barn, and it should be plenty of place in this race. It should be the second race off the come out for Hill Road, who ran a credible third in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. So he's going to have a good late kick. And like it says, like I said earlier right now, is I'm not sure if he's going to have the blinkers on or off. This is the last race before the Kentucky Derby. He ran well with blinkers on, considering it was a slow pace in the Tampa Bay Derby. And that is my pick for the 2025 Wood Memorial. Now I'm doing my rundown on the past Saturday's race, which was yesterday. And I got to admit, I'm not taking any away from the winner of the Florida Derby. That was a very good, productive race won by Tappet Street. He had first run on Sovereignty, and the race settled really fast, 2 furlongs, and he settled in at 47. The first 2 furlongs was 23, then it settled at 47. Manicat Road, ridden by Mike Smith, and I didn't understand why he forced this horse so much. He's better to settle than he is to take the lead, and that's what he did. And he fizzled at the top of the stretch. Manicat Road had first move on Sovereignty with 3/8 of a mile to go. He made a big bold move. He held Sovereignty off by a length and a half. And then I questioned why they used Manuel Franco. I stated in my last video that I would have used different riders for Sovereignty. But nothing taken away from Manuel Franco. Manuel Franco did the best he could on the horse. He was 4 wide. And I noticed on the race replay, with about 3 furlongs into the race, just a little bit after the clubhouse turn, and I could see still Sovereignty doesn't like kickback. He was 4 outside, 4 wide, should not have a problem with kickback, but he was still up. If you look at the replay, ladies and gentlemen, on that race, you can see his head being bolted backward like this, just back and back. So it's showing the horse still doesn't like the kickback. So Belmont has to make a decision what he's going to do to use an equipment change to help prevent kickback for the first Saturday main Kentucky Derby day. And then the big question, the giant X factor that a lot of people seem to not pay attention, is how the race is going to show up that day. Is it going to be sunny, or is it going to be just like a duck pond with a lot of rain, sloppy, muddy, and then talking about worrying about kickback on a fast track? How about on a muddy or sloppy track? And that's the giant X factor. If that's the case, Sovereignty might not run well in the Kentucky Derby because he's not handling the kickback after 2 starts. I know he's an early 3-year-old, but time's running out. That was the last prep for Sovereignty to get it right. So hopefully it's not a wet track for Sovereignty. He's better off on the fast track, or it's a good track where he's not getting so much mud or kickback. And that's going to be an issue. I think with him not winning, though, you're going to get better odds now for Sovereignty for the Derby. Now I'm looking at between 9-2 and 4-1 now. I thought he was going to be odds on if he won the Florida Derby. Still a good effort, but he didn't beat Tapestry, who ran a very, very good race. Also, Disruptor didn't get a big, he broke out slowly, was last at the start. He kind of clipped heels around about the half mile into the race. It looked like he was all over the place. He still ran a credible 5th. I think Top Pletcher should put this horse being a baby out of Gun Runner, maybe for the Belmont Stakes. It's only 1.25 miles for the Belmont Stakes because they're running at Aqueduct, and they're not be running at Belmont because of the construction of the Belmont race course. Or excuse me, that's going to be at Saratoga. My apologies. That's Saratoga, not at Aqueduct, but at Saratoga again, as they ran last year. Also, run down the Arkansas Derby. My pick was Cold Battle. He got a great start. He pulled off the pace. He was 10 lengths off of a half a mile to go, and the fractions at 22 and 45 were just blistering. Speed King and Cornucopia just basically run themselves into the ground. He made a bold move with a quarter left, but Sandman already was picking up a steam because of the fast fraction. The perfect set race for Sandman, 22 and 45. didn't see him going that fast. I thought maybe 22 and 46. He never got a breather done in half. Speed King and Cornucopia were just putting heat on each other until they both were exhausted. So Sandman had the perfect trip. I didn't like the field over the Arkansas Derby. I think the more productive race was definitely the Florida Derby, just because of quality over the quantity. It was only a 3-horse race, I thought, in the Arkansas Derby with Sandman, Cornucopia, who I really threw out. So to me, it was only a 1-horse race that I thought really Cole Battle won the race. It just shows that Cole Battle doesn't look like he wants to go any more than 1/8 of a mile. And unfortunately, the Derby's 1 1/4. I know it was a fast pace that he was trying to keep up with. He's still 10 lengths off, but the thing that disturbed me most, with about a little less than 2 furlongs left, you could tell Cole Battle was very, very tired. He wobbling, the knees were wobbling, and with quality running in the Kentucky Derby, that might be a detriment. And he still might run. Would I run him? No, I would run him in the Preakness. I think that mile 1/4 is too long for him. If he does run in the Kentucky Derby, looking at a good fair odds of 15 to 20 to 1, which is a good odds. He's a very good and honest horse, but he doesn't look like he wants to go the distance. Sandman is going to be bet down tremendously after this win in the Arkansas Derby, saying, well, if the pace sets up like that for the Kentucky Derby, that he's going to really like that mile 1/4. But we don't know how the pace is going to set up. I don't know until week prior who's going to be all running in the Kentucky Derby, who's going to be in, who's going to be out, who's going to be sick, who's the rider change, and also the weather is going to be an X factor. He did improve. He finally broke out of the stall, which I made a comment in my video. If he breaks, which he hasn't braked too well, and he didn't sputter, it looks like the addition to the shoes helped tremendously. So they're probably going to keep those shoes on for the Kentucky Derby. I would. And that is my 2 cents for today. Today's Sunday, March 30th, and I wish everybody good luck who's playing the Horses Day. This is James Ramos from At the Quarter Pole, where winning and history run neck and neck. Have a good morning, ladies and gentlemen.